What up, everybody? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I'm your host, AD Walker Dupusha, the good old the motivator. Appreciate you guys for being here. Another edition to the Brothers of Legacy. Um, so as always, make sure you're sharing. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. Today we're going to be discussing building a circle, having the foundation for those that you can be transparent with and connected to. And we're gonna, on the unfortunate news of a gentleman, and forgive me, the name slips me, but he's been on a lot of different dance movies. I don't know. I was hooked on those movies. Storyline not the best, but just the dancing was always fascinating. and, and like I was talking to Thomas before we started, he was like the turbo of the 2000s. So unfortunate suicide of unfortunate passing of my brother. But definitely we're going to talk about, you know, surviving or not surviving. I want to say that. But what to do when things happen in your life or the cracks in your life. Twitch, thank you. DJ Twitch. DJ Twitch. Thank you guys. There you go, my peoples. Rip, yes, Rip Twitch, yes indeed. RIP. Blesses Lisa. Thank you guys. Make sure you share. Sharing is caring. So we're gonna really dig into this conversation about are you connected and are you staying connected? Um, and just as a note, not saying he didn't have or was not connected. We're just going to talk about the importance of having that foundation, those people that you can call when things happen. All right. So stand back, stand down, stay tuned. Appreciate you guys being. Hey, Mama Corey, great morning to you. Make sure you are sharing. Make sure you are sharing, tagging somebody, letting the world know that the Brothers of Legacy are on. And we'll be right back right after this. We're going to have a great conversation. So definitely share. All right.
You're watching the Brothers of Legacy. We don't stand out. We stand up.
Boom. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Yes.
BOL family in the house.
In the house. All right. So I'm gonna apologize to my BOL family. I keep slipping with my text service. Like when I do my topic, I had everything. I usually try to do it all in one swoop so I don't forget. Text LW into 84576 so you can stay on the communication. So if you have the text service, like, where's the notification? I'm sending it out now. So I apologize. So I appreciate you guys for being here. Another edition. Again, we are discussing do we prepare for the cracks in our life? When things happen, when things break down. And I'm shout out Thomas because he kind of took it a step further. Stuff I didn't really think about. Because we always talk about like the mental health crisis part of it. Like I'm going through this process of things happening, so somebody's watching, you know. But in an instant, you could lose things and you can spiral within hours, within minutes, when your life is like in a great state and things go wrong, accidents happen, you get laid off, somebody sues you, you like for all, like a royalty, like this is the money, the amount of all the money is coming from this space and somebody's suing me and now this source is not available because I'm being sued. People have had YouTube channels, and got copyright strikes and lose their channel, having hundreds of thousands of views, and now it's gone. It's like, wait a minute, now I got to rebuild this thing that probably took years to do and establish. now these people have to find me again. But what happens? And I know people are like, well, but if this is my life, my big house is leaning on this YouTube channel, my cars, my wife's luxuries, we about to take this extravagant vacation that now we're thinking like, can we get a refund? So what happens? What happens when things just kind of not go the right way, And
think about those brokers on Wall Street.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let me get my brothers in here. Mr. Reparations in the building. Good morning.
Yo. Good morning.
And we have, hold on. It looked like he froze. Hold on. Trying to give him a minute. I think he might be catching up. AKA Q-Tip.
Q-Tip.
In the building. All right. He might be having some technical issues. We're going to give him a second. Get himself together. So today we're talking about, do you have a circle of folks to call, lean on, when the cracks happen? And will you call or lean on? Because we could have a safety net, but are you falling into that space, or are you just gonna? I'm good. I'm good. You trying to I'm good your way out of it, knowing it's not good. Knowing you're not in a good space, especially like, and I probably talked about this before. If you are the Superman of a lot of people, you're the one everybody goes to. Do you have someone that you can go to? Because people are like, yeah, I got people around me, but you're always saving everyone else. Is there someone that can come in and save you? And one more thing, then I'm gonna toss it out there. Sometimes they're there, but do we utilize them? They're there, but do we utilize them? All right, so I got Dr. Thomas. I'm gonna just call it out there. Dr. Thomas Cotton in the building. Got Mr. Reparations, aka Ephraim Terrell, and as always, Pastor Brian A. Curry Sr. in the building. All right, so we're gonna dig into this conversation. Do we prepare for the cracks in life? Anyone can feel free to jump in. The cracks in our life, if things go wrong, things don't go the way we anticipate. Do you have someone you can call on and say, man, I don't, because I had the preface of, I don't need money, but I've just got to vent. Like I just lost it all. And I'm just trying to hold on and think clear. You have someone like it just everything bad. Is there someone that you could feel like, do you feel comfortable reaching out? That's a big one. Do you feel comfortable reaching out and exposing yourself like that?
I'll jump in. When we start thinking about this topic about having someone around, a lot of times we don't recognize that we're in a crisis where we need people around, because this is just my life sometimes. I get around a lot of people who this is just my life. This is the way it is. And I need people to talk to, but I don't need you to fix me. I'm going to fix myself. Yeah. And a lot of times that's where we kind of push away the help that would be there. Even you think about when, someone who's heading down the wrong path and you got this person in your ear saying, young man, if you keep doing this, you're going to end up here. Young man, right. If you keep doing this, you're going to end up here. Right. The young man don't really care about what you have to say because you're trying to fix me. I'm trying to fix myself and you ain't helping me. So I don't really have to want to hear what you say. And then they end up in that space that they don't, that the other person was telling. So that's sometimes when we start thinking about mental health and when we start thinking about having someone around that we can talk to. We're not trying to find someone to fix us at times, but it's not about fixing. That's where we have to get out of that mindset. It's not about fixing. It's about having someone that can really impart life to us in those moments, because, when we're going down, spiraling in a situation, we want to have people we can trust that can help us, get out of that spiral, to help us to move to the next level, to the next point, to get a breath.
Right.
I remember years ago when I broke my leg, I was miserable, and everybody would tell me, just be strong. It's going to get better. Just be strong. It's going to get better. I'm praying for you. It's going to get better.
Right.
And I remember just going, but that's not helping me right now.
How'd you break it? How'd you break it?
I was going up on a 360 dunk on some dude, and he didn't. I'm just kidding. I wish it was that beautiful, but it looks like it's breaking up. Hold on a second. Let's catch up. Are we breaking up?
We
hear
you. You're good. It's gonna be a minute.
Okay. I was jumping up and to catch a ball and just came down. I was playing hoop, jumped up to catch a pass, and that pass, I came down and my legs stopped and the rest of me didn't. And so
do you feel like you struggled because do you feel like it was your fault?
No, I just feel like why, in this situation, it's one of those things about why do these things kind of continue to happen to me? It's like, why do I have to keep going through stuff? Like, I ain't doing nothing but playing hoop and trying to keep in shape. Right. As much good as I do, why do bad things keep happening to me?
It's awesome.
And so it's one of those things where when we start getting into these things, it's like the frustrations of life are hard. And when we start thinking about how hard life can be, because all of us have gone through it, having people that we can lean on in those moments and not fall through the cracks is very important. Having a foundation before a crisis happens is important. A lot of times, we think everything is all good and we're pushing that face of this is all good. It's all great. It's all gravy. But the reality is there's a lot of things happening in the background. And if we're not prepared when the storm happens, then that perfect storm can drive us to a point of breaking.
Right.
It's good.
That's good. Jeff said something good. He said, I really don't usually, for some reason, I ask for help. I always try to handle stuff myself. I don't want to be a pain to anybody.
Yes, sir.
How do we shift out of that mindset? And do you guys feel the same? Like, I have a hard time reaching out because I feel like I'm just inconveniencing somebody else's life.
Yeah, absolutely do. And then it makes me feel like I got to justify this inconvenience. And it's hard for me to go to McCory and say, I'm about to inconvenience your day. And I want you to know it's all my fault. They had some beanstalks. I heard a lot about growth and giants, and I took a chance. And I fell for the okie doke.
Right.
And I need you to bail me out. Would you please pause from your wife, your family, your kids, and your bills for a quick second and come bail me out again?
Right.
So that's how it comes off. And it makes it hard to go to people when so like if there was a wrongful death, a bad shooting, whatever, we stormed the Capitol. Everybody, I don't care if you're man or female, how it feels when you in the right. And you feel emboldened. You can't wait to get to work. You can't wait to call, pick up the phone, whatever the case may be. When you are all the way right, you ready. But when you wrong, when you were drunk behind the wheel, when you was late to work, when you did have the pistol on you, but you didn't have the certification, it wasn't registered, you done got your license, you act a little different. And that's how it is, man. It's not often that I'm gonna come to you for help.
Right.
When I'm all the way right. You feel me? So it's usually I need the most help when I done messed up and I'm in a hole. Right. And it's a little hard to come to people and say, because if I come to you for help, I got to leave you a space to ask me what happened. And that's the part I really wish you would leave out. So it makes it hard, man. This ain't easy stuff, and it becomes to the point where suffering, dealing with this thing or handling it myself becomes the better option in my head. Than coming to you telling you I know I was on my grown man stuff, but yeah, I done messed up. You know, bail me out, please, friend. It's a hard thing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's you know that the your fault thing does make it more challenging, because I think about if a natural disaster happens, it's easier to just say, man,
Yeah,
y'all saw that hurricane come through and just rip my whole life apart. Like,
we blame it on
I-
God. It's an act of
yeah,
God.
right. I ain't had nothing to do with that. So I need a little assistance, in this
Yeah.
situation, because I ain't had no control of it.
Yeah.
I think it's easier to reach out. But when that hurricane is my decisions, is like,
Yeah.
But that also comes to the point of having that right circle in place where they know you. They know that you're a hurricane in a sense, but they love you anyways. They got your back one way or the other. It's not, and so there's a saying that I heard growing up: you're lucky to have one good friend in a lifetime, right? And they used to be kicked around so much. You're lucky to have one good friend in a lifetime. I'm very fortunate. I have a lot of good friends, not just surface level friends, deep friends. And they know the ins and outs, the good, the bad, and that's what makes our friendship so deep, because I know theirs, they know mine. We've been tried and true, tested.
Right.
And but you don't go to everybody with everything. You know which friends you have that you can go to that can meet this need. I have one of my friends. He always checks in with me, because I'm usually that one person that's always helping other people.
Right.
And so he's the one that's calling me on my mess, calling me in my space. And whenever something's going on in my life, he's asking me, what part do I play in it? All my friends do that part. What part do you play in this? They always get me back to center, because it's not always someone else's fault.
Right.
It is, what part do you play with it? And even if you don't think you've done anything, go deeper, because there's something that you can start to see.
Right. True. Reese had a good point. What's up, Reese? Good morning, man.
So Reese,
He asked, what is the point of asking what happened? Is that the condition of the help? So it's funny. I thought about when I was reading that question, I was like, if Reese, you call me, I come to the crib and the space is like destroyed, like just broken stuff. It's just looking crazy. Like, yo, man, can you help me to clean up or pack up? And I'm walking through a mess, and it's like, I'm not even gonna ask right now. Let's just do it. Let's do it. I'm gonna ask you later, because I'm not gonna sit there and act like I don't want to know. I want to know, but I don't think it's a condition per se.
It's something you got to be open for, though. That be honest with you, it's fair.
Yeah,
it's fair.
It's not a condition that
I'm about to inconvenience you.
Right.
I need you. We were in the car in college one time, and we got pulled. We went to go get some McDonald's. You know how hungry college kids is. We got in this car riding. It's all good. Get pulled over by the police.
Right.
The automatic confession that started coming out of my boy's mouth. Bro, my transmission don't work. I ain't got my license. I was like, wait a minute. I should have known this before I got in the car. It was owed to me, because help rolling with you, because we were paying for McDonald's. It was a fair trade. You got the car, we got the money. Let's go. Right. Helping you out, you helping us out. You have put me in a spot.
Right.
And I needed to know that I signed up for this. It's a fair question, man. Yeah. It's just tough to hear.
Right.
And some McCoy might say, man, I can't help you if I don't know what's going. He's literally said that. He said, I can't help you if I don't know what we're talking about.
Right.
So
that's true.
It's just something that I hope that the helper would discern and say, I'm not going to ask right now, or nah, I need to ask. But if I come to you for help, I have to be willing. That it's a legit question. It's fair.
Yeah, true indeed.
What about the side where if you don't say anything about what it is, can you really get the help you need? Like if you're only giving partial information.
I don't want.
If you only have partial information, but you want me to help you, okay, you need $1,000, and you're not telling me I need $1,000. You're talking to me out, and I give you 20. I can't really help you because you didn't tell me you needed 1,000. You know, it's
Okay.
kind of
Yeah.
there's this idea of when
that.
sometimes the help you need, there has to be some transparency. There has to be enough trust in the person that you're talking to be transparent with also.
Right.
To
Yeah.
get the kind of help that you need.
That right there.
Right.
That right there. Having, you go to someone and you're asking them to make a sacrifice, to give of themselves.
Right.
And you don't trust them enough to share with them what the real need is, where you're really coming from.
Right.
Then
Right.
the issue is not with that. This is one of my mantras that I use is I'll always do what I can, but I won't do what I can't.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Right. And if your story isn't complete, then it incapacitates my ability to help you effectively. Sometimes it's important to understand how we got here,
Right.
so that you being here today is not repeated a month from now, 6
Right.
months from now.
Right.
How can we
Yeah.
improve? And that's a hard lesson.
Yeah.
Hey, look, man, can you just help me or not?
Listen.
I ain't
Listen.
asking all of that. I'm just asking, hey, can you kick me down or not? Can you
Listen.
and
When
that's
I-
what
when I-
like, well, evidently you came to the wrong person asking.
Right.
for help,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, don't get an attitude. Like, anybody out there listening, if you're passing by this YouTube broadcast, you ask for help. Don't give me attitude. Don't give me. Are you gonna help me or not? like,
Well,
no.
you
If-
think about it.
listen, how can I be your brother if I'm not in your business?
Right.
Right. And if you
can
can't
be.
trust me enough,
I get what you saying, but you can be,
if you can't trust me enough to tell me what's going on, you can't trust my information to help you out of it either.
Right.
Or my
Okay,
research?
okay. So what's your discernment
yeah.
piece? What does your part come in to say? I might leave this part. I'm gonna leave that part alone. If
Well,
you
don't
see
need
I'm
all-
stressing,
I don't need
are
all
you
your
going-
business.
No.
Oh,
So I work with people all the time who are justice involved. They have criminal records. I don't need to know your criminal whole history and what you've done and how your case went and all this other stuff. But I do need to know how am I going to help you? If you have certain crimes, then eventually I'm going to need you to divulge those crimes to me, because if I'm trying to get you a job or a place to stay or something else, and you have a certain crime that doesn't allow you to be within a few hundred feet of a school, and you don't tell that to me and I get you a place, my resources ain't going to help you. So
Right.
I don't need, there is a point of discernment that I know you need help. I know that I'm here for you. I know I have wisdom for you,
Good.
but will my help be specific to your need? I can't discern everything. You have to tell me something.
Yeah, tell me some things. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. That's good. That's good. Reese had some great points. He said, he said, if I'm an unconditional type of guy. If I can help you, I will. I don't need to know what happened. But he just said, I just had a friend ask for money for his car insurance. Meanwhile, he is on his way to the World Cup.
That's a tough one.
But I mean, he might have the tickets. And
No,
then
that is
happened.
tough. Like
Could have happened.
you gotta like, okay, when you come for the help,
Yes.
you gotta let it go. Just
Right.
like I gotta come in and let my pride go to ask for the help.
Right.
When you release your help, your resources, your cash, your advice, whatever, you gotta let it go, man. You can't be counting my pockets. You know what I'm saying?
All the way to World
It's
Cup.
but you okay, and you see, but that's what I'm saying. See how tough this is? You feel what I'm saying? And like, I might have the World Cup. I want to go see them play next week. I already know that's coming, and that ticket's already paid for.
Right.
I
You
know
paid for
how
it like
it's
a
gonna
year
look.
ago. Like
I
a year
know
ago.
what it looked like. I got
You
the
paid for
room booked. The only
Right.
thing I didn't buy is my jersey. But
Right.
I got to go to you because I'm in a current situation.
Right.
And to
Right
hear
now.
you say, "But ain't you going to the World Cup?" It's gonna mess with me, like, bro. And now I got to sit and explain how I plan out events for 6 months. Like, it's a tough situation, man. It's a tough.
But that's why I love the scripture that teaches us to know them that which labor among us, right?
Yeah.
Because you have an opportunity to look at your relationship with that individual, look at their life, and make a determination. If you find that they're going to the World Cup and they have a history of saying one thing and actually doing something else, then you can get on it. But in a situation like that, the reality is, man, you find yourself in a little tight spot. I get it. Can I help or not? That's the question.
Right.
And if I'm able to do it, doesn't matter to me that you're going to the World Cup.
Right,
You know,
right.
if
I
I'm
think
getting
that.
on you, probably because I'm envious of the fact that you're going. And I ain't helping you get to no World Cup. Why not?
Where
Why?
you get your tickets from?
Yeah.
So I think it's relative. It just depends on the situation, because what you said rings so true also, Thomas, when you talk about, a deeper issue. You asked me for, can you borrow $100? And I find out later, oh, you have a gambling problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I
Deal with things
mean?
that-
Like
yeah.
those two don't go together very well.
Right.
I'm not going to help you because in a situation where you're not being responsible.
Right.
Right. So let me help you get out of your own way. And
Right.
in situation, and here's the thing, we all know why it happens, right? What's the immediate feeling when you're in a real struggle?
Right.
The most common feeling is you feel alone,
Right. You do.
right? Then there's a feeling of desperation. Then there's a feeling of embarrassment. There's a feeling of shame, and you don't want to expose those things to people.
Absolutely.
You don't want people. I tell people, there's certain things I don't even want to know. I don't want to process it in my mind.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? Like I've learned to be careful. Like when somebody wait, hold on, stop, wait. I don't even need to know anymore. I feel you. I got you. I understand. Let me see what we can do here.
Yeah.
Because it may be an area where I can't help you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can help you over here, but I can't help you with that. So let me do the part that I can do, and I don't even want to process that. But together we can find a resource.
Yeah.
Where you can go into that level of detail.
Yeah.
Because there's certain things you don't even want to know.
Yeah.
Guard the ear gate.
Too much information.
Too much information. That can happen.
Hey, good morning, Philip. Good
And
morning,
you have
Deborah.
to care enough about the individual and
Right.
your perception of that individual to not damage
Right.
your perception of that individual because of a mistake they made. So that requires self-examination. But I'm saying these are the emotions that people go through, and this is why it's so hard to share your struggle with people sometimes.
Yeah.
So, there's a thing you said, Pastor, about, being able to provide the help. Can you provide the help to a person? And sometimes we have to check ourselves to find out, are we really the type that joyfully wants to help people, or are we just doing it because we have excess, right? Sometimes it might stretch us. Sometimes we have to, in this World Cup situation, think about the other person. This is a once in a lifetime thing, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can we support that person in their once in a lifetime endeavor?
Right.
Every situation is different. We can't bring this generality to every situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We have to be able to understand each and every situation as being
Yeah.
different, because I often say that my history and the things that I've been through would break anybody. But I can't compare what I've been through and the strength that I've shown in those moments to somebody who may have had their bike stolen and lost all their marbles.
It's big to
trauma.
them.
Yeah, trauma impacts people different, just like situations impact people different. So this person may have been dreaming about this World Cup situation,
Right.
and they may be willing. They're going to pay you back. They just need a little, can you float me something until I recover from all this foolishness I just spent, right?
Yeah.
And and I remember back in the day, there was a friend of mine did a lot of things, good things for me, and he had a drug problem. I didn't know it at the time.
Gotcha.
And he asked me to borrow $100. He's like, "Yeah, can you borrow $100? I'm gonna give it back to you." Because it was him, I was like, "Here." And I used to have this saying, and I had to change because I used to allow things to impact me to where I held a grudge. But I used to say, well, it only cost me $100 to get you out of my life. But the reality is that $100 showed me that this person had an issue that was deeper than most people go through, and that he had challenges in his life, and he didn't want to be in these challenges, but these challenges were wrecking his life. So it gave me a different perspective of how to support and help him. That $100 is what it costs to really see some of the deeper issues that people have and come alongside them and support them. Because if we're really talking about seeing people overcome a lot of the barriers and challenges and they're able to really excel in life, then we have to take these moments to help them excel and quit trying to tear them down because they make a bad decision or they misuse some resources that we might have given them.
Indeed. Jeff says, and I'm going to put a question. He says, for some reason, it always feels better for me to help someone before they ask rather than when someone asks first. Makes sense.
You know,
So, okay, how long is too long to wait for getting paid back?
you ain't getting that money back. Reese.
Look, it was said earlier when you release those resources,
Release 'em.
they're released.
Go on.
Jeff says you have to dial 933.
Kadeem, if you're watching, I'm sorry.
If you watch it, hit Kadeem up. Y'all better stop playing with Kadeem about that money.
Yeah, you
man.
got.
Listen, here's the
Oh,
truth,
man.
and a wise man taught me this about 20 years ago. This was a person in the church. Because he was talking about in the church, he said, don't loan people money in the church because it ruins relationships,
Yeah.
right? And he said, when you're giving something to someone, I think that's the point. I'm going to say the same thing you just said. Don't give it looking for it back.
Right.
Even the Bible says, don't give out of necessity or want, right? You don't give looking for it back. You give hoping to have an impact, to help, to fill a need. And it comes back, wonderful. But if you give looking for it, then you've given out of necessity or out of want.
Wait a minute. He said, I knew I was going to get that answer. You all clearly borrowed money. that what you got out of that?
I had to pay it back.
That's what you heard.
That's what he got.
Okay. All right. All right.
Listen,
Reese crazy. All right. That's
half
what you
empty
heard.
or half full, huh?
Reese want that money back. What is there a such thing as too much help? Is there like limits to your help?
Yeah, because
Absolutely.
again, it goes back. I think Thomas said it earlier. It's all relative to the situation, right? How critical is the situation? Is this? You have to check the ground. The Bible talks about seed, time, and harvest, right? Which means you have to check the soil that you're seeding into, and if the soil is foul, there's nothing coming back. The Bible talks about where to sow a seed. Some sowed amongst thorny ground. Stony ground. Some sowed amongst the thorns. You have to consider the ground, and that's important, or else there's going to be soiled feelings, no pun intended, later.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah, you just.
But can we not associate this conversation just with financial?
No. Yeah, I know we need to expand this some.
But when it comes to the tension, it's often that I'm not as tense if I need to borrow your car for a second. I'm gonna return that. If I don't, it's stealing. The tension comes with the cash.
Right,
get what you're
because
saying,
we're all
but-
sensitive about our money.
Right.
Yes.
I got it.
Yeah.
Because we all still trying to get it.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what makes it hard because I know you need it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And what's so amazing to me is that's why we struggle so much.
Say more.
Because we spend so much time on stuff,
Right.
and we don't spend enough time on emotion, getting right. If your head ain't right, your money ain't gonna be right.
Right.
But that's not always as clear as help. It's kind of like what you said
Which
earlier.
is why we have to learn how to talk.
Right.
Which is why this conversation is important. It's important to understand that when I'm stressed, the last thing I want to be trying to do is manage my budget.
Right.
And if my budget is causing me stress, where did I miss the mark?
Right.
A lot of our trauma, a lot of the trauma is the cause for mismanagement of our lives.
Absolutely.
Dr. Cotton, please explain what I just said.
When we start talking about mismanagement of life, there's a lot of opportunities that we have, and it comes down to the way we to engage from that process of what we know and not really allowing other people to share information with us. When I think about the mismanagements of my life,
Right.
I ended up in spaces and places that definitely should never made it out of.
Right.
And whether I would be dead or in prison for the rest of my life, I was by the grace of God, I'm given another opportunity to manage life.
Right.
But how you manage life doesn't start from the point of everything I know, because everything I know led me to one point. It starts from finding people who I can trust, who are imparting things to my life. And I believe them more than I believe myself at that point, because that's one of the things that allowed me to make the shifts and change in my life, is that I believe other people more than I believe myself, because I saw my actions and what the outcomes were for my actions.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times what we don't do is we don't find the ability to allow people into our life in that space. We have this thing, I say it all the time. You heard me on the show. Trust is a cuss word. And so it's hard for people to trust. And when you say trust me, it's like, why are you cussing at me like that?
Yeah.
But the reality is, I've said this on the show also, I trust everybody first.
Right.
And the reason why is because if I put the trust out there, number one, I get to see your true colors quicker.
Right.
You're going to respond to my trust in a way where you're either going to try to use me, misuse me, or really honor it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second of all, what you do, I can trust you're either going to do me right or you're going to do me wrong. So there's trust in every situation. But, when we start thinking about the people that are going through these crises, and how much help do we give? We give enough help to get out of the situation in the moment. We're not worried about, the long term. We give them help in the moment.
Right.
And then if they continue to come back, we know there's a deeper issue.
Right.
And so the way we help and support changes at that moment. We change the way we give, because I'm not going to handicap you to think that this is just the way life is.
Yeah.
I'm going to empower you to do the things that are necessary. I'm going to support you in resources. I'm going to support you in love and care and a genuine, opportunity. But you have to be in the right mindset to take advantage of those resources in the right way. Otherwise, you're going to just drain the resource, and the people that are coming after you don't get the proper help.
Circle back
we have
real
to
quick. Circle back for me with the whole trust thing. How is that working out? Trusting people first.
It's works better than not trusting. I've done both of them in my life, and not trusting got me to a point where I thought everybody was against me, even my own family. And it gets to the point where you look at everybody as an enemy versus an ally or somebody who can potentially give you a new opportunity, open up doors for you. I'll say this, like, there are times where people will come in and misuse that trust, and they'll try to get as much as they can out of you.
Right.
But the reality is, if you trust with your eyes open, you get to see it faster. You get to understand that this person is this type of person. When we talk about discernment, I think you cannot discern well without having some type of trusting element to it. So you have to be able to trust instinct. You got to trust your ability to overcome whatever comes at you. Things are going to hurt in life, but every hurt that we've been through, we've been able to work through. And so we don't have to worry about like whether or not this is going to take me out or be to the detriment of my health. I don't think, someone comes and says, hey, I need all the money you have. I'm not going to give them all the money. There's this limitation that you also put, but you also have to be able to learn and understand. One of my best friends became that almost immediately 22 years ago. He and I met at church. He turned around, introduced himself. And from that moment on, it's been on ever since. And he's every time I would, ask him something or do something that's just to see how trustworthy he is. It wasn't that I was testing him, but it's just the things that come up in life. I would talk to him about it. His responses would be trustworthy responses. And not only that, you get to see the actions behind it, because people will tell you one thing, but they can't follow the actions.
Right.
And so if I'm trusting that this is what you say out of your mouth, this is who you are, this is what you're going to be, then I'm going to trust you, and the actions have to align. because
couldn't,
if they don't align, then that helps me to see that, wait a
Absolutely.
minute, you say this, but you're really
Yeah.
this person.
but
Yeah.
couldn't distrust be to your advantage? Couldn't distrust be a form of survival?
I'm sorry, it was breaking up. I'm in this. I'm at the mercy of this bad internet. So sorry about that. I'm not at my
No.
regular internet. Say that again.
Couldn't distrust be a form of survival? Couldn't it be to your advantage to distrust?
Distrust. Yeah, it could be a form of survival. Can it be to your
It is a
advantage?
form of survival.
Okay.
But where do we learn distrust? Like, think about
Right.
the times where, like, for me personally, I'll tell you why I'm this way. It's not that I just had this epiphany that's like, oh, I'm going to do this. Everything that I used to do in my old lifestyle led me to prison. It led me to so many other things, and a big part of that mindset was trust no one.
Right.
And a B can't be trusted, and this person can't be trusted, and that can't be trusted, and this can't be trusted, and you don't trust this, and you can't trust this. Well, I did that to the detriment of my health. So for me, it was just as simple as, if all these attitudes and mindsets and things that I was doing led me to this point in my life, then let me, I was 22 years old when that happened. I was like, let me give myself 22 years doing things different, and let me see what the contrast is.
Right.
And then I can clearly say whether or not one way is better than. So if I gave myself the same amount of time doing things a different way as doing things another way. And after the second 22 years, my life was way better. There's not a place in my life that's not better.
Right.
And so for me, it was survival in the sense of I had to trust to survive.
Right. Right.
Not distrust to survive.
I definitely agree with that. Just to come into a room being open, willing, like everybody's cool unless they prove otherwise. You're mindful of actions and character. And I think when people are honest about that character, like, hey, you said you're gonna come through. Like, yeah, I'm gonna come through. I'm just let you know I'm late a lot. Like I'm a person that's late. I'm always late. So I'm working on it. I'm trying. I'm just letting you know up front, like my flaw is I'm late. When people are honest about themselves, and you can still trust them. Like they come late, you're like, well, he did tell me he's gonna be late. Like I can't be mad.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you're gonna be 2 hours late, but like it's just having, I think it's an open honesty about who you're dealing with. Like I struggle with this. Like when it's coming to put money in the group pot, I struggle with it. Like, okay, so if the conversation comes up, I can't get mad because I know who they are and I know what to include them in. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I think it's that transparency more than just, being perfect, if that makes sense. The trust is you say who you are, that's who you are. You understand what I'm saying? Like the good, bad, and the ugly.
Right.
I can, it's on time, right? He said on time is late, right. But it's understanding who they are. Like someone's not selling you a bill of goods that they're not. Yeah, man, I got this, I do this, and they don't have it. They don't come through. Like and you lose the trust drops. But it's like, this is what I got. This is where I'm at. This is what I can contribute. No more, no less. Maybe a little more, but more or less. Like so. It's just, I think it's the honesty that matters of who you are. And like I said, Thomas, and I'm working on it as well, Ephraim. I ain't like perfect, but I try to go in handshaking. Oh man, he seemed cool. Some people look like, okay, he look a little shady, but maybe he's just that chill in the back, kind of watching everybody, kind of person. But I'm gonna put it out there. You understand what I'm saying? Unless, like you said, that discernment, like, okay, I'll be mindful. Not that I won't connect with them, because I am like a firm believer, like, and pastors talked about it before, just I don't want to, especially in this season, I don't want to cut anybody off. I don't really want to cut somebody off. I might limit because of maybe character, maybe something. I can't bring you everywhere. Like the way you operate, like I can't bring you in every circle. But you're cool, you have value, me and you talk, things like that. I'm not, if it's to a cutoff, it's because of disrespect or you just stole something. Like, stealing is just like, oh, I can't just let that ride, So I think the trust, it just takes work.
I applaud y'all. That's not how I move. I'm seeking to minimize risk at all costs. But I hear what y'all saying though.
But like I hear.
So
go ahead, Tom. You go ahead.
Well, think about this. So, like, if we're talking about falling through the cracks and how many people, we started off with DJ Twitch and the situation he was going through. There comes a point where we have to be able to be available for people, and if we have this distrusting attitude, then people are not going to want to come to us. They're going to be able to discern that also, that like, I can't really come to you when I'm in my crisis, because all you're going to do is say, praying for you, brother, talk to you later. When there's really a deeper need that's there. And also we got to trust, when we have this distrust about others, we also, somewhere in the back of in my opinion, this is pure opinion of myself, we also have this distrust of ourselves in a certain way, because the more trust I have for others, I trust myself in a certain way. But I also trust this, that if someone comes to me with a need and I'm moved to meet that need, I have to trust that everything is going to be there in place to meet this other person's need as well as mine. I got to trust that all the work I put in for this money that I have right here, that I'm a loan to this person, that's a part of my life that I put in for this money, right?
Yeah.
I got to trust that I'm going to make that up somewhere. It's not going to be something. And I don't like loaning money a lot, and that's not the biggest thing that I do, but giving of your life also, my time is very important. That means I'm going to, someone comes to me. There's a young man that just came to me, did 26 years in prison, and I met him a little bit over a month ago. And first phone call, he says, look, I want you to mentor me. Now, I know that after this much time in prison, there's a lot of elements. So I'll put myself out there and say, yes, I will. But here's what I trust. I trust that I'm going to make myself available, but I also trust that you're going to put the work in.
Right.
If one of those elements don't work, like if you're not putting the work in, then I'm not available.
Right.
And so it just kind of goes, but if they continue to put the work in, then I'm going to continue to be available. And I trust that this is a process that we can work through. And so sometimes maybe it's not just trusting people. Maybe it's trusting process. Maybe it's trusting the way we do things, the way we go about it. But we have to make ourselves put ourselves in a place where some people are going to need more help. And last thing I'm going to say about trusting and really engaging people, because relationships are important to me. But the reality is, I started a church years ago. The reason why I felt the need to is because there was no churches, in my opinion or my experience, area that we were in that looked at the person before they looked at the sin. What I mean by that is a person can come in, prostitute, gay, this or that. Not saying we're all for, these kinds of things. We're for the people. So I'm going to see the person before I'm going to see the sin, because we're all sinners.
Right.
And I think to show love to people, that's important. We have to be able to see beyond, the biggest flaws of the person to really see the person, and then being able to engage them relationally, and then share, if we want them to know about why we are the way we are, we're going to have to be relational with them. And the reason why I'm the way I am is because of my relationship with Jesus, right? And so there comes a lot, and I'm not trying to make this, all about the spiritual needs, but there are these spiritual needs that people have. Absolutely. Because this world is trying to break people. And if we're looking at not falling through the cracks, we have to make ourselves available. Not super Christians, I got all my stuff. I don't have all my stuff together, but I am available.
Right.
And that's important.
Definitely.
Listen, you said a mouthful, man. I still go back to there's still a people issue here, right? Because that trusting, you talk about trusting people versus trusting the process,
Right.
versus trusting yourself. So what I hear is it's really important to know who's in your life and why they're in your life.
Right. Right.
If you're close to somebody, why are we so close? Are we so close because we get along so well? You know, the one thing that I always appreciate about TD Jakes and how he broke down the 3 C's. I've made that a part of my life, you know, constituents, confidants, comrades, and how he broke that thing down. Did you guys ever hear that from him? Because first he talks about the constituents, and he talks about Peter, James, and John with Christ.
Right.
You know, not everybody could go as far. Not
Right.
everybody could make it to the Mount of Transfiguration. You got to have those people that are going to go where you go, be with you in it.
Right.
As you know, like wherever I am, you're with me. If I go up, you go up with me. If I go down, you down there with me.
Right.
They're just with you, and you don't have to pretend with these people.
Right.
Right. A lot of times, you know, we're putting on airs, and that's why people irritate us, because we get tired of perpetrating the fraud, and we got to get away from them so that we can take the mask off. A confidant allows you to remain unmasked. You don't have to put on airs for a confidant. And that's why he said you do well in life to have 2 or 3 in a lifetime. People that you don't have to pretend with. You can share no matter what it is, they got you. That's critical in life, right? You also, and then he talked about
How do you?
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask a question. How do you determine which is which? Like, how do you get to a space where you're close enough with each one to know where you're going to put them?
You said it yourself. You know, I'm going to say it a different way. For me, if I'm a teacher, day 1 in the classroom, everybody has an A. It's up to you to keep it. That's it. I'm going to trust you first and see what you do with the information. And then I'll learn, okay, I can only go so far with this person. Then you're going to find out where to share and how to share. Some people overshare and they find out, man, I was talking too much. Right. I gave that person too much, and it's not their fault. I should have had more discernment about where I was pouring out, who I was pouring out to.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. And that takes time, but it also takes communication. It takes effort. And you have to have the patience to work through those types of things. You will find yourself drifting towards a particular personality in your life. You'll find people that move with you. You'll understand who those people are if you're available, if you're open to it. You know, Cotton talked about being available. You have to be as emotionally available as you want someone else to be for you.
Right.
That's where that confidant comes in. The other piece, you gonna say something?
No, go ahead, Pastor.
Other people are in your life. This is what he said. He said, other people are in your life for it, a constituent, right? We see that all day long in politics. I'm with you as long as you speaking like a Democrat. I'll do whatever's necessary for it, for this thing. And as long as I'm being served in this, I'm going to go where you go, do what you do. I'm going to have your back. But the minute I'm no longer benefiting, I'm switching teams, right? You have to understand people's why. Why are they with you? Is it for me or is it for what I'm doing, the mission that I'm on right now? You understand?
Right.
Comrades, and then you have like comrades are like he said the scaffolding on a building that's being erected. Right. They'll help you build it.
Yeah.
They know your plans, but as soon as the building is up, they're gone about their business.
Right.
Right. The problem with scaffolding is they know your plans. Now they can go and build the same building you built and become your competition. Right? So you have to be careful. You can't give a comrade all your information. Ask any professional athlete that changed teams.
Yeah.
they're gonna give you the goods on the team they just left.
They just left, yeah.
And they just all they did was change uniform. They changed colors.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
I think it's all a jumping out there and not being afraid to connect.
Mm.
You know,
I-
because
And
You
not
can't be
being afraid to
connect.
get hurt. And
Right.
and learning how to overcome
that joint. Like, and
Right.
I'm gonna tell you, these couple of years, this season's, it's been rough. Like, I've had moments that I'm like, I'm done. I am done with this whole connecting thing. But it's like an investment. It's an investment. So
It is.
there's some that produce amazing fruit, and then there's some that just were like, oh man, I thought this was a good space, but it's not. It's all good. You got to kind of like, but you can't. You got to just, like you said, count up the cost. You know the investment. You know something's gonna work, something's not, and then there are the, another analogy, like what they say, like the tree. You got your roots, you got your branches, then you got your leaves. Some people are leaves. They're in for a season, they're out for a season. You feed into them, they're good. You're looking like, oh, you a leaf. Dang it. I thought you was root.
Yeah.
My bad. And you just keep rolling. Like, my thing is, and I realize, life is short. You kind of got to just jump out there and hope for the best sometimes. But certain relationships, don't ignore. Now, don't ignore they call it intuition. I'm called the Holy Spirit. When he's speaking, like, slow down there, buddy. You just need to watch a little bit. Don't ignore it, but don't be afraid to connect. Don't be afraid.
When people come to me with issues, the minute they start talking, in my mind, in my spirit, I start praying.
Right.
Yeah. I'm praying for discernment. I'm praying for openness. I'm praying for empathy. And understanding. That's just the truth. Because without those components, it's just a transaction.
Yeah.
It's interesting to hear what y'all saying, because we're literally seeing the same thing in the situation, but choosing different routes to go about it. But like, what makes me, it's also my management style. I seek to minimize risk. That's how I approach a lot of situations.
Yeah.
What's in your back room that could be potentially dangerous? What in your cloud do you have that's a redundancy? Like, I'm already looking at to see how we can like streamline stuff.
Yeah.
So when I approach people, the first thing that's on my mind are those who I'm obligated to. Therefore, so AD got a drinking problem. For all y'all who didn't know, he has a drinking problem. We go out to the bar. He wants me to buy all the drinks. I'm his friend. I got his back. He had a great day. So I'm going to support the first round. But after that first round, I've gone past my spending allowance. Now I'm going into people's Christmas money, light bill money. You get what I'm saying? And
Okay.
I guess what I'm saying, I hear what y'all are saying, and I try to do it to a degree. But first on my mind are those who are obligated to me. All right. So with that, it makes me say I can't. If you look at my first apartment, was called the Dungeon. The house I live in now don't even got a nickname. Like we had so many people there, it was ridiculous. But here it's not like, why? Because I know a guy named Grits. Rumpy, like random people who only know your full name. They can't just sleep on my couch no more. It's not the same. I got different obligations.
Right.
So who almost like a CEO is responsible to the stakeholders. He makes his decision based off those stakeholders, or he'll be replaced.
Mhm.
So I make even my interactions, the things I trust people with, personal or tangible, cash, money, whatever. I'm conscious of that. So it makes me a little. I lead in with a little distrust in order to minimize risk.
I don't consider that
And
distrust.
I think we're saying the same thing. It's just how our approach and how we go about it. Because
Yeah, I think saying that.
trusting to me minimizes risk. It allows me. So, for example, let's use employees, like you said. If you make a bad decision off an employee from the beginning, it can cause you problems down the end. But you have to trust them in a certain way. For me personally, the level of trust and openness and conversation that's given to somebody like that allows me to see their true colors sooner versus not. You know, if we're comfortable in the conversation and I'm giving you information about myself, and the more information I give you about myself, I'm trusting you with this information. I want to see what you're going to do with it. And when other people get comfortable, they take that information and they become their true selves. And right there, well, you're giving me something, I'm gonna give you something. Right. You know, and then we seem really cool. Let me start using some cuss words really quickly, you know, and and then we're on a job interview and you feel comfortable enough to use cuss words with me. How are you going to do it with the people you have to interact for representing the company? That's kind of, you know, one of the ways I'll look at it. Not that there's anything wrong with the way you talk. It's just, is that what I need for this position, right? So being able to see it, to me, it just opens up quicker. It just, you know, when you give your information, you show, look, I'm going to trust you with some information. You get to see what a person does with that and what they're going to do with the resources you give to them and how they're going to respond. And then that limits how much you will invest into that situation. But I think we're saying the same thing though.
100%.
But when it comes back down to the conversation we're having here though, is how do we provide help to people? How do we, you know, we don't know the situation with DJ Twitch. We don't know the situation with people who are going through crisis in life, but we definitely have to have a method to support people, to understand that every situation wasn't something that was a mental health crisis has been ongoing. It could be a moment, you know, as I threw out there earlier, you know, you think about the stockbroker where the market just crashed and they just, you know, market crash, I'm crashing through this window and I'm gonna commit suicide, you know, or whatever. Right. We don't know what people are going through. We don't know what they've done. You know, what kind of mess ups has a person done? And you think about a person arrested, they feel like their life is over. And there's a lot of times, you know, I used to do suicide watch for people, you know, when they're in prison, and you just, there's a lot of different moments that break people, and we have to be able to understand that, like, it can be a moment. And so if someone reaches out to us and they're having a moment, you know, sometimes we have to find ourselves a little bit more available to people, and we have to trust that what they're telling us in this moment is something that we have to be willing to listen to share through, and not just think like, you know, you're just going to waste my time and I got to go. Right. You know, there are times where we have to just understand that, but we also have to be discerning. Is this is this constant with this person? Is there any different times than the last time? Right. And so I think, you know, in order to help not fall through the cracks, we have to realize we're capable of cracking ourselves.
Yeah,
absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
Gerardo says, he said most people show or tell you who they are, but we overlook and ignore it. Then we act surprised when they do to us who they are when it was in front of us the whole time. Granted, the good snakes be snaky.
Right. But again, that's why you have to be prayed up, man. You know, I've learned that when you're prayed up and you walk into a room, God will point out the snakes in the room. And we can't blame a snake for being a snake. We have to fault ourselves for not discerning the behavior. Right? Sometimes, you know, but when you're self-serving, engaged in the relationship in the front end, you miss a lot. Yeah. Right.
And let's be honest, we have enough experience in life to start knowing what snakes look like. Right. Don't act like snakes just sneak up on you. Yeah. You know, and I'm not downing this person or anything, but you know, the movie's How Stella Got Her Groove Back, right? All right. You know, she finds herself in this relationship with this guy, later to find out that this guy is gay. But did you ever look at the pictures of that guy?
Oh, my man. Yeah.
Oh, the real life guy?
No, the real life guy. It has this doesn't have to do with gay or anything or any perspective. No, all I'm saying is you could see that before. You didn't see that? I mean, like you didn't know up front. We've had enough experience with people in life to see certain things and to know what they look like at times. Right. When
if I saw it, I believe I'm strong enough to change it.
Right.
That part. That's the problem. Superhero complex.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You know, we
yeah,
have to be
definitely,
mindful.
definitely the help and being there for others. And like you said, there could be a recurring issue, but then some people can, start thriving and then they have a slump. It's like, I need you again. I need to get talked out of this. I'm just in this roller coaster right now. I'm trying to, get stable. Hey, good morning, Cheryl.
Listen, I tell people this is what I learned, like raising children. I'm a father of 5 children, all of whom are over 18 now. And I've learned that not everything is a phase, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your child can have an issue and you categorize it as a phase and don't deal with it. You're not available for it because you look at it, oh, they just being a child, and you miss it. And then 15 years later, you've lost your child because you labeled something. We do that with each other in a lot of cases, and that will cause people to bottle up and shut down. Right? Just breezing past their statement, their emotion. I'm hurting in this area.
Right.
One case, when you examine anorexia in girls, parents think it's a phase.
Right.
Someone ends up committing suicide because
Yeah.
you find out later it wasn't a phase.
Right.
This middle school problem wasn't a phase. This was a trauma that has caused somebody to have some issues.
Right.
And you count it up as being an adolescent. And so you punish them for their behavior, but never deal with the underlying issue.
Right.
And so as adults, when we talk about, and if you don't learn to go deeper and see things and hear things that are deeper, you lose relationships and you lose yourself.
Right.
And that's real talk, man. That's why I love, and I'm going to go back to something that you said, Cotton. That's why the best ability is availability.
Yeah.
You can make yourself available and make someone's issue real,
Right.
validate their issue, and then work to fix it. I may not have the answer, but I'm here.
Right.
I may not be able to fix it, but at least I'm somebody you can talk to.
Right.
And together, collectively, we'll figure this thing out.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right, gentlemen, and ladies and folks watching, we appreciate you guys for being here. Another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. Sharing is caring. Talking about building your circle, being able to reach out, getting past the trust or the lack of thereof, and trying to build great relationships. And I appreciate you guys for again being here. Thank you for always supporting. Thank you for sharing. And we're gonna get ready to get out of here. We look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. I was trying to find Reese's comment that he wrote about Twitch that I don't think he took his own life. I can't believe that. It's some questions in the story, but the relevant part of this conversation was just reaching out, getting the help that you need, having those around you so that you can reach out when you have a crack or a break or something happens and you just need a voice of reason just to kind of talk you off the ledge in a sense if things are going not the right direction. And talking off the ledge doesn't mean necessarily just killing yourself, but just walking out on your family or just doing something crazy. We've had friends that they have those tempers that can land them in jail for life. We're just like, you need to chill out. You can't get mad because you don't know how to stop. So it's those moments that we need to be aware of and be there. Be as a listening ear, like chill out, just calm down. Where you at? I'm in the bar. All right, you need to get out. Go to your car because you're gonna start something with somebody. So just be there as a guidepost, as a listening post. And what did you say, Pastor? The best availability or the best
best ability is availability.
Availability. Indeed. All right. So again, 988. If you or someone you love is having a mental health crisis, if you can't reach anybody, dial 988. Yes, it is a real number. It does work. And someone will be on the line to kind of talk to you and get you through and call for the proper authorities or help that you may need in that moment. All right. So tomorrow, look forward to seeing you. Same time, same channel. What's tomorrow? Friday. Jeez.
Already.
I don't know about nobody else, but this week is going like super fast. All right. So know that we love you. Jesus loves you more. Stay safe. Make good choices. And oh gosh. What's the comments?